and gentlemen, it has all come down to this: a final race showdown for the World Constructors Championship here in IRL Tier 1. 3 teams still fighting for it: Red Bull, Haas, and even the surprise addition of Alpine, who at the start of this season only had one driver in Tier 1, no drivers in Tier 2, an inactive TP, and through the perseverance of said one driver, GoldenSniper, whoever he is, get that man a raise. He has funded this team, got a TP, got everyone, even so dropping down a tier to Tier 2 to ensure Alpine get 2 decent drivers in Beta and Impulse. Could they surprise everyone and get enough points today to pounce Red Bull and Haas to win the World Constructors Championship here in IRL? I'm your commentator, GoldenSniper, the previously mentioned cockhead who started for Alpine in Tier 1 this season, and it's going to be a very lovely qualifying under the Vegas lights, and we'll just see who is going to spring out on pole. One debutant today. It is the man who commentated Tier 2 yesterday, the man who is definitely a very uncooked wheat square, as I've put it. It is toasty oven bread. I don't know why you toast bread in an oven, but we're balling out. We are absolutely balling out, and there's going to be some balling out everywhere. As you already see, a Mercedes coming out of here, as does an Aston Martin. The only Aston Martin on the grid is this man, Lewis. As Teddy does have a qualifying man to serve, he will start at the back of the grid after too many infringements from last week in, I fucking forgot what it is. Anyway, my job is going to be on the line today, as is my racing career. Anywho, Lewis decides to get past Cobus. The 2 cousins going to be battling out on the track today. Don't even mention this man also out on track, Max. These 3 are going to be absolutely thunderfucking it for P11. Anyway, as these lights are just fucking careening down the track here. Nothing to see as of yet. Drivers fucking dicking about. And Mark and Strenzi are going to have a lovely chance to seal this World Constructors Championship themselves after sealing it in Tier 2 yesterday with Quoto and Leandro taking that bull by the horns, literally, and just thunderfucking everyone the entire season, probably. Anyway, you can see Lewis just having a moment coming out of the runoff just at the start of Sector 2 there. Or it's the middle of Sector 2, coming out to Sector 3, the long straight. He's weaving a little bit erratically from the steering wheel, you see, and he's just going to fucking send it, hopefully not crash into, I believe that is Cobus. And in front, the first driver started his quality lap. It's going to be absolutely fine. You got Toasty out on track as well. You got Ferrari, the only one of Hash Brown also. Calm down, Lewis, mate. Calm down. Anyway, Cobus can fly around the first corner. We're going to ride him all the way through his first lap. See what benchmark he can set. Give me a little bit wide coming out the first corner. Not the best start, but this part you can really take flat out if you are on 9. A little bit wide as well for the Mercedes as he comes in. The fucking first straight, the first of 2 long ass retros. There really should be a third, but I digress. Anyway, lovely breaking into. Oh, hits the wall a little bit. That's going to dent his confidence a bit, and he's going to abort that lap, waiting for his cousin of Mr. Lewis to fly past. I'm not sure if I got that right. Lewis, if that is true, please, I don't know, tell me. Anyway, Lewis is going to fly around into it, just thunderfuck everything here. As he is in the middle of Sector 2, this part is a really nice right to left hander, weaving almost as if you're just absolutely cunting in every corner. Takes that quite well, almost gets a bit wide and hits the wall. But now we're on to my favourite part of this track, the Vegas Strip, the long straight, past Caesar's Palace, past the Eiffel Tower. It's just a lovely thing to look at while you're driving past. And Lewis is taking it all in that view of Aston Martin. Lance Stroll-esque. Let's just hope he doesn't break his wrists today, as he tastes the braking and lovely coming in. Now will he use a secret tactic? No, he won't. Taste the curve normally there, and he's going to fuck it down the back straight here. One time leaper on the board to set the benchmark for everyone apart from Fakana is out on track. Lewis crossed the line with a 133.4. Sorry, not about time. To set the benchmark here for the Aston Martin, as you do have Max better across the line. Is he going to beat the man who's signing for next season in the Mercedes? He does with a 132.9. Decent time for Max. Next driver across the line is Solzy, but he's going to start flying like that. Further than I know, Solzy got 2 podiums in Monaco back to back, I believe. 1 in Tier 2 and almost 1 in Tier 3. Oh, Tier 3, Tier 1, I am severely retarded. Anyway, the next driver across the line is this man, Scarenzi. He's been absolutely cooking lately, and he cooks it even harder with a 130.8. As Hashran crossed the line with a 131.6. These two are definitely here to show that they've got the pace to fight for the top stretch. As Impulse in a double across the line with the 131.3. He's in provisional P2. For now, his teammate Beto is going to come across the line and snatch P2 away from him with a 131.1. 0.02 of a second in front of his teammate. Next shot across the line is Mark, who's actually going to dive into the pits and mug me off completely. Anyway, oh, good from Marky Boy there. As you go back to Lewis, who's an extra across the line. Will he actually cross the line or mug me off here? He's decided to absolutely mug me off and slap himself into the pit lane. Unfortunate for him, you silly goose. Anyway, Max next shot across the line. He's also going to go into the pits. But Kobus is not. He hasn't set a time yet. He's going to come around the final corner. Absolutely fucking send it. Slaps it in a 133.3. Who's... my bad. Family lineage is not my strong suit. Solzy across the line with a 132.4. And that's a good time. Beats both Mercedes and Lewis for just the biggest amount of shit hairs you've seen in your life. Stranger's going to fly around. He's coming into the pits. Everyone's mugging me off today. Holy shit. Anyway, speaking of mugging off, fucking Hashran starts. Ooh, Impulse almost having a bit of a slip up coming out of the middle chicane into Sector 3. That may damage his time a little bit. You see the engine lights blaring just that tad. He's lost about a 10th already, but he has done a cooldown lap to actually slap stick and dick everywhere as Hashran to come into the pits. You see that beautiful prancing horse, especially the shitting horse. If we're talking about real life, it's a wonderful car to drive. I'm glazing too much. Anyway, out on track, Mr. Toasty Oven Bread, Mr. Wheat Square, Mr. Bread Boy, as people have called him, was caution in Sector 1. Don't really know what it was for. It was, of course it was Lewis. Anyway, moving on. Toasty is fucking sending it down the chicane. Lovely. Using the curb absolutely brilliantly there. Coming around the final shitty corner. There's a caution in Sector 3. I believe that is because this man on track is low on fuel. Mr. Souls, Mr. Bear Boy. As Toasty's going to start on his debut here in Vegas, he takes the first corner just that little bit wide coming out of it. Will he take it? Will he take the second corner a little bit wide? That is almost picture perfect, I think. I don't know. I'm waffling. Anyway, coming out of the first straight in Sector 1, DRS zone, DRS in tow. Will he take that next corner? Lovely. He does almost clips it. Well, no, he keeps it nice and tidy there in the Haas. As he's going to fly around. The next corner of this chicane is very tricky to get a hold of, but Toasty makes it look effortless as he dicks it down the next fucking long winding right left hand as Vakana has retired in the pits without setting a time yet. It's a little bit odd for the McLaren driver as Toasty's going to dick it about into Sector 3. He's at a 55.8 there on the board as Lewis is for some reason decided to go on a picnic into Sector 3. What a good thing for him as he's on an outlap. But this man is not. Toasty's going to fucking send it. He's going to absolutely send it and smash the shit out of everyone who thinks he's a shit driver. Wink wink. Anyway, Toasty goes a little bit wide there, but uses the curb effectively. As he comes out of the back straight, using all the ERS, and he's gonna absolutely thunderfuck everyone. Coming around the final corner, takes it lovely, a 1:32.0. He beats out on Solzy, both Mercedes and Lewis. Mark is still the only driver out on track, not to finish this time yet, as Beetle has decided to take the escape road into Sector 2. He's almost as landed Norris a couple years ago, as he lets Mark go past, I think. Yes, he does. He lets Mark go past. He's all the backlight blaring, as he's almost tucked him behind he almost tucked him behind again, the Red Bull of Mark, as he looks to just get a little bit of a toe on his lap. Here's a call down that, and here's also a call out for Impulse. He's gonna fucking into the pits. These fans are gonna fucking into the pits. Mr. Marky Mark, he's gonna send around the final corner. What time can he slap on the board? A 1:31.5 is a lovely time for the Red Bull boys. Next drive across the line is Hashran. He's on an outlap. And Scorenzi is also on an outlap, so no one really pushing. There's a shit show in Sector 2. Both Mercedes just saying hello to each other. Why not? As a Ko is doing a little bit of a weaving. Max is just sending it on an outlap. Holy shit. Oh, this is a lovely qualifying already. Caution Sector 1. It is Scorenzi just having a little moment. Oh, that's why Hashpan spun round. He's been spun round on, I believe, that is turn 3 or 4, and he's just been disqualified from the session for driving the wrong way. Very, very awkward there for the harsh driver who started at the back of the grid. Unfortunate for him, as, cars are cars, you're not supposed to drive backwards, buddy. As you see Toasty, just sent into the pits, P5 so far, and there's around 5 minutes left in the session. I can't really see it because this is a caution. Anyway, so he's fucking sending it into Sector 2, absolutely whipping it, almost invalidated coming out of the chicane. It keeps it lovely, nice and tidy. Lewis is still having a picnic in Sector 3. He really loves that part of the track. Holy shit. Speaking of Lewis, he's going to fucking send it on, and he's only got an outlap, but we move. Anyway, who's up ahead? Mark, both, both Red Bulls slap it into the pits. Yeah, they are going to probably put on another fresh soft compound tyres to really send it towards the end. A 1:30.8 is definitely a good time for now. There's a caution Sector 3. That is Cobus, I believe, going a little bit slowly, maybe a little bit low on fuel. No, he's all okay. There, Solio is definitely on fuel. He's sending it around the final corner. What can he slap on the board? A 1:31.6 puts him in front of the wheat square of Toasty. I need some water. Give me a second. I don't need water anymore. Fuck that. Anyway, Cobus crosses the line to start his final, and he's just going to dick it around like he usually does. Send it up the inside of people and just exist, basically. God, I love water. Someone sponsor me. The name. Voice break. Fuck. Anyway, Dasani, please sponsor me, even though that's the shittest water to exist. Anyway, Lewis slaps at the 1:32.9, and he beats Cobus, who's on a 1:33.3, but he's just in the middle of Sector 1. Or 2, I should say, just absolutely slapping cock in that Mercedes. As he's coming around to start Sector 3. As we're on the onboard now, he's going to send it down the Vegas Strip. It really, you can see Pierre and Kevin Magnussen on the screen. Two drivers, one a race winner and my personal favourite, and the other one an absolute shit-eating Danish man for fun. As you cut back to Salty, he's going to fly into the pits, as does Matt. So Cobus is going to thunderfuck into the chicane, where Lewis decides that he's going to have his picnic, and I don't mean the chocolate. As Cobus is going to fly around, he's going to go into the pits. No, but he's actually improving on his time here. Coming in the final corner, he slaps at the 133.1, 1.5 tenth improvement, but not enough to get to this boy, Mr. Lewis, who is flying. I'm not sure if he's in a quarter lap, but DRS is in tow down towards the famous Lewis's picnic spot, and he takes that nice and clean. Coming around, he looks like to dive into the pits, so that is simply lovely, as you would say. Toasty Oven Bread, the man of the wheat squares and bread boy, is on an outlap, slapping it into DRS. Why am I even pointing this out? I don't know. I need something to comment about. As Toasty sees a lovely Vegas strip there, it really is quite beautiful if you do visit yourself. Almost hits the wall a little bit there, actually. But that is all good, no damage for him yet. I'm going to send it around the final corner here on the back straight to start another qualifying. There's a caution in sector 3. That's just Cobus being Cobus. Anyway, drivers coming out the pits. It is, I believe, both. Oh, Toasty's hit the wall. Double rebound. Almost gets into the way of both Alpines, and he parks it on the side of the track. You can see the wing damage there already on the Haas. And he went to start flying. He's hit the wall and rebounded onto the outside wall. That is not what you want to see for a man on his debut. And that is his qualifying over. He hits the wall yet again. That is really unfortunate for the Haas driver. The only one they were looking for good points this weekend to fight Red Bull. But it just seems that Toasty, maybe a little bit of experience there with this track, just having a bit of a slip up towards the start of this track, and that is not the way you want his debut to go for Haas. As Aeronautics isn't allowed that, Toasty is going to just wander back into the pits. As going to cut across now to Mark, who's going to start his flying lap, soon takes the chicane beautifully there. He's going to fly around with under a minute to go. All of the drivers actually get there in time to start a lap. Lewis may not be. He's all the way back, still in sector 2 up the middle. So you wonder if he's even going to make the last lap. You saw it in Monza a couple years ago, I think 2019. Everyone started to hold each other up to not even get to the line because the tow was so strong down the straights there. But this isn't Monaco. This is Vegas. It's pretty much I don't know, just straights and more straights apart from a couple corners everywhere. As Mark's going to slap it. He's only 200s up behind him this time. So he needs to really push something out if he wants a good position. His teammate is still provisional pole for now, but I'm pretty sure the Alpine is going to have something to say about it come the end of this qualifying session, as Mark is going to throw it into sector 2. Qualifying is over. That means Toasty, Lewis, and Cobus did not cross the line in time, and there's their positions done and dusted. Lewis and Cobus starting up the last of the finishing drivers as Teddy, Fakana, and Hashbrown. Teddy Fakana did not set a time, and Hashbrown unfortunately disqualified for spinning into turn 3, and he was facing a long way for too long. As Mark's going to send it into the Lewis picnic section, clips the curve a little bit too aggressively there. That's going to hinder his time just a bit. He's going to send it around the final corner. You see the back light is blaring. That means no ERS. I think slapping it in for a 132.38 100s up on his time is not a good improvement. And it looks to be maybe a P5 start. If this man can send it, he invalidates his lap, but doesn't improve too much. Mr. Souls for a B-dot slapped it on pole with a 30.6 as his teammate isn't able to improve, gives him the tow. Scorenzi beats him out on pole with a 130.5, and Scorenzi steals it at the last second from Alpine. Scorenzi will start with both Alpines behind him for P2 and P3 in Vegas. You've almost got an Alpine sandwich, it's that close between the top three. You got Mark in P4, Solzy P5, Max with a great little qualifying session there for Mercedes, P6, Toasty on his debut, P7, Lewis, P8, Cobus P9, and Teddy and Fricano weren't able to set a time, as Teddy did have the qualifying ban. Hashran all the way back, unfortunately disqualified from this session. As you look towards the race itself, it's in shape up for an absolute cracker of a race weekend here in Vegas. It just looks to be for today, the Red Bulls having towards the Alpines today, looking just to see if there's any mix-up between both teams. I'm aware Davis is hunting for that third World Constructors Championship, as Andrew, who left Red Bull actually, is hoping for his first after leaving the Red Bull family and joining the team from Enstone. Solzy says Dean's not here to kill him. Good for you, mate. I know Dan's not the particularly quickest driver, but we are balling. Solzy says Red Bull have it in their hands already. Only thing, but so did what's it called? Alpine. There was the same amount of points, because Alpine finished second and third, because they get 2 points for P2 in quali and 1 point for P3 in quali. So they got the same amount of points in qualifying. Woo. Anyway, it's all to fight for here in Vegas, and it's going to be a fucking shit-eating track. The deck is going to be a little bit higher, maybe. You never know what's going to happen with how this track goes. As we are no one in the grandstands. The 5 red lights are blaring out. It's the final race in IRL Tier 1 in Las Vegas. The 5 red lights are out, and away we go. Serenzi has a great start, but it's a Beater who's going to try and send it on the outside. Impulse gets a run on his teammate, who gives the position back. There's carnage up and down the grid. Teddy's fallen all the way. He's actually stayed where he was as a caution. In Sector 1, there's carnage up the back already. There's Lewis. There's Lewis, Teddy and Hashran having a massive moment at the start of his GP. That's not the way you wanted to start it. Oh my Jesus, Solzy, Fakane sent it really wide and almost into the runoff area. He drops the back of this pack already. Tosi also caught up in that incident between his teammate Hashran and Lewis, but we're up to the back of the front of the pack again. Beater is hot on Scorenzi's tail. They really need something here for this Constructors Championship if they want it to go the way from the team in Enstone, or will it be for the team from Milton Keynes in Red Bull fighting for another Constructors Championship? It's only that one. Anything can happen. But Impulse already under pressure from Mark as Teddy gets past his teammate for P9 all the way back in the middle of Sector 3. Impulse is gaining, he's slowly building a gap to Mark, who's there for P4. Almost a little bit wide there, Impulse, but that's all good. He almost clips the wall on the exit as well. So you're going to send it around the first corner. DRS is going to be in play. Fakana gets past Cobus for P7 as Lewis gets past Hashran. Still there. Serenzi sent the bench above the 137.2. There was a standing side, so the time's been a lot quicker coming the middle part of the race as they look towards maybe a medium to hard strategy, as everyone is on the mediums apart from Cobus and Hashran, who's starting the hards. Maybe they're going to mirror and do a hard medium strategy towards the end of this race, which may actually look like the better strategy. Start with a harder compound, flying around and slap on the mediums as Impulse takes a little bit wide out of the chicane there, and now he's going to have a lot of pressure from this man on screen, Mark. He's got the Alpine in front. He's going to look to burn maybe a little bit of DRS coming down the straight. You can see Impulse already slightly gaining out. Does Mark have window? He's going a little bit wide there as he passed to the little left-hander where Lando Norris crashed that 2-3 years ago in, I believe, the first ever race we did in Vegas. As Mark's have DRS down the straight maybe. He does, but so does Impulse. But Mark is severely closer and takes P3 from Impulse. And that looks to put Red Bull in even better position. Mark almost goes a little wide into the wall. Has to almost back out, as does Impulse. Impulse going to dive down the outside maybe of that Red Bull. No, he keeps it nice and tight. He's got Salty for company there. Salty's going to try and move down the outside. Will he make it sick? No, for now, Impulse to that inside line is going to send it there, but Salty has that inside line for the second part, but has to yield to that Mercedes Alpine. I am really bad at my job, holy shit. Lewis and Hashred already pitting. They got damage from the start as Lewis and Hashred. Actually, Hashred's going to pit on the medium combat, so they both fix their wing. Actually, no, it was only Hashred to fix his wing. Bit unfortunate for him, as he's going to slap on the mediums. And I don't know how long that's going to last. Probably a 10 or so laps around Vegas. I was going to check this battle here quickly. For P8, it's going to be a lovely battle between Fakana, Max, and Kovas. Both Mercedes flying around. They've got a McLaren for company in the middle, almost like a little sandwich, as they're going to dive around the back straight. Want to quickly cut back to this battle. Football Dog is up the back of Sorenzi. He's going to dive around the outside with DRS, and he's going to take the lead of the race from the Red Bull. And as of now, it's going to be Football Dog to fly away into the Lewis Picnic section, take it lovely, as Sakana gets past Max on the straight, as they all take the Lewis Picnic section absolutely to a T. And Football Dog flies around the back straight to start lap 4. Sorenzi's tried to look for a little bit of an opening, but the corner just came that much quicker than he expected, as Sorenzi's going to have the back out of that Alpine there for a little while, as you can see Mark and Impulse having to scrap at the back. You've still got Souls fighting with both of them, just waiting for a moment to pop up, but unfortunately nothing popping as he almost slips on the curve just a little bit, as he's 3 still fighting for the last podium position. And as we're going to cut back to Sorenzi, he's still trying to catch up to B-Dot, who is still in first for Alpine. A 1-3 would not be enough to clinch the title for the team from Ensign. It will still go the way of the Milton Keynes based team of Red Bull. So they need to push a lot and hope something happens to either one of Sorenzi or Mark. But judging from the pace of this man, Sorenzi, I don't think it's going to happen, as he does even need DRS. He dives down the outside of the Alpine, takes his DRS and says, sayonara, bitches. I want that win for my team, as he takes P1 away from Beta. Impulse is just closely behind his teammate. They were might in the slightest bit of contact maybe, or maybe that's just the little gravel bits running off the curbing into Lewis Picnic section. Lap 5 now, flying around. Impulse, that's the fastest lap with a 1:33.4 on the medium set of Didis. So not bad. Time for him flying around in Vegas. I'm going to quickly take a seat. My back is murdering me. Oh, lovely. Anyway, Impulse is going to get her DRS on his teammate, who also has DRS on Sorenzi, but nothing as of yet. Oh, it's going to be a long, windy race, as the top 5 are only all in a DRS zone, training each other. Sorenzi's almost going to be a sitting duck come the DRS zone, as he's backing up this pack here, as he looks to save as much DRS as he can. He's actually lost that little bit of time to the Alpine behind him, as they're coming around the middle of Sector 2. Everyone takes that corner absolutely lovely. That a bit of a material they're kicking up from the curbing as they come towards the back straight. Beto is still going to have the run down on the Red Bull as he comes down the main straight with DRS in tow right about now. Sorenzi's going to defend it with all his life, but it's Beto who takes the lead race yet again with that DRS in the Vegas Strip. They take the corner lovely, and Beatot's going to try and fly away. Once again, Solzy 3 seconds time play for track limits. That's not going to help him at all, but for now he does stay in P5 as his teammate is around 6 seconds behind and almost in a battle of his own with Teddy and Cobus and Max fighting for that P6 spot. They're all in DRS to each other. Coming down the back straight, speaking of DRS, coming back to the front of the pack, Serenzi's now got DRS on B-Dot, who's can try and move maybe, but the corner comes too quick and that's not going to work for the Red Bull as Impulse actually caught up to Serenzi on that lap. He almost sends it just a little bit too close to the Red Bull, but keeps it nice and tidy as these three fly around the middle part now of Sector 2, a long, windy, right left hander, really a fun part of the track. You just hope you don't thunderfuck it into any of the walls like Lando Norris did a couple years ago. Impulse almost gets caught there with Serenzi, but he's lost a little bit of time, but he's still got DRS on the Red Bull. And we go to Serenzi now on the onboard. He's got B-Dot in front of him. He's got DRS in tow right about now, and he's going to send it on the Alpine for P1. He might have needed DRS then. He was just having that much straight line speed on the Red Bull as he takes it a little aggressively but makes up for it. There's a caution in Sector 3. B-Dot's actually been spun around. Oh, that is not what the Alpine boys wanted to see. B-Dot having a moment at the end of the middle part of Sector 3. I don't know what happened. He has wing damage, so maybe clipping that outside wall after the chicane, and that is not what the Alpine boys wanted to see come this race. They want to maximize absolutely everything, but as of now, B-Dot is having to pit for a new wing and fight through his pack yet again as Serenzi is leading the way by 2 seconds now, and he looks to push everything he can to keep the other Alpine of Impulse behind. As they're coming down to the chicane, you got Fakana now on screen, the closest battle on track after B-Dot unfortunately having that moment into the Lewis picnic section. Fakana is the closest man on track to anyone apart from Lewis, who for some reason is at the back of the field. Now, I'm not sure what's happened to him this race, as Slater has left the session. Unfortunate for him, as he's now going to be possibly overtaken by Fakana down the back straight. Will he have DRS in tow, or will it not be enough? He looks like he doesn't have DRS. He does. Sorry, he has DRS down the back straight. You can see that Haas just in front of him. Will he get the move on? No, the Haas defends well there. Teddy still an AI, but his AI just seems to have a really good defense for that part of the sector. Fakana's a diver in the outside of that Haas. You can see him just there squeezing it all around the truck as Fakana keeps it. He takes it for P5 from the Haas. You can see Teddy going wide there a little bit. As he loses his position, he's going to lose all the time due to him being AI really quickly here. He's got Cobus and Max in the back. And it just seems like a matter of time before Teddy gets overtaken yet again. Almost stretching the tyres from one of the McLarens there. I believe that was Solzy coming into the chicane. But still keeping it on track and nice and tidy. As in to Max, he's the closest driver on track to his teammate and cousin of Cobus, as he does lose that little bit of time to the other Mercedes, and he's probably not going to have DRS come the Las Vegas straight. And fly around, he's at 1.2. That's not going to be close enough for DRS unless he gets a really good rundown on the straight. You can see the DRS detection point is coming ever so slower, but 1.5 seconds is not going to be enough for that DRS. It might be enough just for Cobus. No, he doesn't make it as well. But Teddy is much slower as he is AI, as Cobus is looking for something here. Just anything to get him on the line into P6, no. But the straight is where they thrive the best here. Cobus is going to thunderfuck it down the back straight. This lovely left-hander is enough to cause carnage. As we start, as we're on that lap 9 now, Cobus is going to try and dive maybe around the inside. No, he keeps it nice and tight behind that Haas, who is going to slow down just a little bit. He's actually sending around the outside of that Teddy, and maybe with DRS get in front as he does, slaps it for P6. A good little move there from the Mercedes as Max looks to pounce on that as well. He does it 3 times finally for track limits as he takes it almost a little bit wide there, coming out of the Vegas chicane, and that's to make him lose a lot of time to the Haas of Teddy, who I have no idea if he's still AI or not. I unfortunately don't have him added, so it may be a dull day for the Haas team. But as you look to the Vegas Strip, Teddy's going to have... No, he might have DRS here as the times are still fluctuating on the 0.9. Absolutely I will. Sorry, Andrew. Gap's the leader. Here you got Mark, who's in P3. He's about 7 seconds behind his teammate. Solzy with 12 seconds and that 3-second time penalty. He just had a little bit more time to Fakano there as Mark's going to come to pits, as does the Impulse. They're going to pit off those medium compound tyres and fly into the pits. As Solzy is not, he's going to stay out and keep P2. Fakano is also going to stay on the medium compound. So it's a mere 2-3 for the Mercedes team as Fakano almost has a slip up coming into the first corner. You've got Max, Toasty also diving into the pits as Impulse and Mark flying onto the hard compound tyres. Look back to the intervals here. Impulse is going to get that move done on Teddy. There was almost a bit of contact between both cars, but seemed all clean. Just wanting to get a move on really quickly as not to be behind that stricken Haas in for P5. He's looks to 5 out of the grid here. As a quick look to the tyre comment, Teddy's back in the session. That's what we love to see. Scorenzi, Solzy and Fakano have yet to pit, as I can't really find how much fucking stops I've done. I am severely retarded. Sorry. Toasty gets a 3-second time penalty for track limits, unfortunately for him on his debut. Down in P10, Teddy, Fakano, Cobus, Solzy, and Scorenzi, none of them have pitted. Everyone else has done the mandatory 1 stop for Vegas today. And as of now, the pit starts around 24 seconds maybe, as Scorenzi's going to dive into the pits. Impulse is a 3-second time for track limits. Actually, don't help the Alpine team at all. We're currently running 5 and 8 here. Fakano is going to fly around for another lap, and he takes the lead of the race as Solzy comes into the pits. Cobus still not pitting yet, but he's going to absolutely fly around as Teddy also pits. So it's going to be a Fakano, Scorenzi and Cobus. That is your net podium for now. But Impulse has already caught up to the back of that the Mercedes as Max gets his moved on Teddy, as Teddy he's still in the pits, maybe nursing a bit of wing damage. Unfortunate for him as he has a really slow stop there. But Impulse sends it a bit wide out in the chicane. Those hards need to take some time to get warmed up just a little bit longer, as Impulse going to fly around the straight into sector 2 there. The winding right to left hander is a little bit of a tricky thing to do, but he makes it all effortless. Almost clips the wall coming out of the exit. He's going to have DRS on that Mercedes for P3. And it looks to be just a simple overtake for the Alpine, as you can see the difference in speed between the used mediums and the fresh hards. Cobus just getting out of the way of that Alpine of Impulse. He sends it just a little bit wide there, but he keeps it all nice and tight. He will Fakano pit this lap as he's coming around. He does pit, and that puts this man on straight, surrounding it back into P1 as he's going to fly around the first corner I think around 2.5 seconds in front of Impulse, as Vacane's going to drop down the order rather quickly. Covers is still the only driver yet to pit off those medium tyres, which is I don't really know what he's doing. Maybe, possibly. Oh, he's actually on the hard. Sorry, I've completely forgotten. He started on the hard, so yeah, it's gonna be maybe a hard to medium for the Mercedes. Hashran is still on those mediums he pitted on. Thanks, Andrew. I knew. Calm down, sunshine. I love my job. Anyway, lap 12. Everyone cocking about. Scorenzi is still in the lead. He's got Impulse to company. He's slowly getting that time, but those 3 seconds are going to murder the Alpine. It's going to be a windy race as Lewis sends it into the runoff of the DRS zone in sector 1. You can see the amount of grip loss he's had. He maybe damaged his rear wing. He's maybe damaged it. You can see the car just having no rear grip there. He's definitely had that rear wing absolutely thunderfucked. And that is not what you want to see for Lewis, who really wants to make something of it. You can see him spinning as well. Oh, no, maybe a rear puncture. As you can see the car just bobbling. I mean, that is definitely a rear right puncture. You can see the car dipping slightly. Just hitting the wall one too many times. You see that rear right absolutely blown to smithereens up the back of the grid. That is unfortunate for the Aston Martin as he cut back to the front of the pack. Scorenzi might actually lap the stricken Aston Martin as he's still just trundling into sector 2. He's spun again, coming into the chicane. He's gonna just park it up and hopefully Scorenzi goes on the outside. Thank goodness, as Lewis is just sat there waiting for all the cars to go by, as he's gonna possibly back it up now, or maybe he's just decided to park it there and wait for everyone to go by. But a full puncture. He's a score from the section of parking in a dangerous location, and that is not what you want to see from the owner of the race, from the league. Lewis unfortunately disqualified by parking in that chicane spot and not moving for that. Anyway, Scorenzi is still in the lead in lap 13, 2.4 seconds in front of Impulse, who does have 3 seconds time penalty, but will keep P2 for now. It looks to be another World Drivers' Championship for Red Bull today, as they've concluded that Scorenzi's got a lot of pace, as he is the World Drivers' Championship, the World Drivers' Champion for this season, almost like a Max Verstappen-esque driver. Someone give him a bit more of roast potatoes for his dinner, please. Anyway, Teddy gets past Kobus for P7 here, as Kobus is actually going to pit off those hard tyres. He comes out in front of his teammate. This battle's going to be lovely here. The fresh medium's going to be a lot stronger than those slightly worn hards. But Max and the rundown on his teammate. Kobus, is there going to be a little bit of dive? No, there isn't. They keep it nice and tidy. Almost a bit of clip of the wall from Kobus there. Unlucky not to get a puncture, just like Lewis. Oh, a bit wide from both Mercedes. It looks like use that curving to its advantage. Lovely driving from both Mercedes, as we're going to cut quickly to Solzy, who's on the back of B-Dot, who does have 3 second time penalty, but it's a close action on track, so we're going to cut to it anyway. Solzy's going to dive around the back of the Las Vegas strip here. He's going to have DRS in tow right about now, maybe. There it is. DRS is almost blue balled me for a second as Solzy sends it around the outside of the Alpine and moves up to P4, but he'll be dropping down the order if he can't get that 3 second gap to Beetle, as a 10 laps down now from the end of this race. Anything can still happen. There still could be a surprise popping up. There always is in Vegas. as a Soldier just keeps it nice and tidy. Apparently Lewis ran over something in sector 1 and just blew his tyre up completely. As going to cut now to Beetle, who's going to have DRS down the outside of that Mercedes. Can he make it stick? He does, just in time. And Soldier has to yield around the first DRS zone of Vegas as Beetle looks to charge up the rest of the pack. As Soldier almost runs into the back of him there, but breaks just in time as the Cane's on the pounce on his teammate. And behind him, Teddy as well. So if they stay in position here, they could possibly jump or come the end of the race because of that 3-second time penalty. So far, Soldier not having the best of races so far, but he's going to have DRS come down the Vegas Strip. Sorenzi is 4 seconds now in front of, and that looks to be this World Truck Championship done and dusted, unless something springs up out of nowhere as Soldier gets past on Beetle for P4, come down the Vegas Strip. Working quickly, car back foot, Beetle gets a 3-second time over track, and it's just not Alpine's day today here in Vegas. They say you need to gamble your money, and unfortunately, they've taken the gamble too much on track limits. As Max has a bit of a slip up coming out of the Lewis Picnic section. It's unfortunate for him as he drops down, drops even further behind his teammate, who's going to pit. Kobus, he's going to, no, he's, anyway, don't pretend I never saw that. Kobus trying to cut the pit entry there. Naughty boy. We can just see B-Dot's up the back of Soldier, who's fighting for P4. They're both in even playing terms now because B-Dot did get that 3-second time, but for track limits, Soldier has to spend just a little bit harder coming into sector 2. Hello, Sensaka. Hello, son. Welcome to the stream. You are very late. Your driver is currently P11, last of the finishing drivers, as B-Dot's going to transcend it onto McLaren, but he has to yield at the last second. It's not fun to fuck him off track. For Kana, having a bit of a slip up because he's just on the back, who's going to have Teddy for company down the straight, as B-Dot's going to dive around the outside and take P4 away from Solzy. Can Teddy do the same to that McLaren of Fakana? He does, slapping it into P6. Ellie's here, and you know what that means. Potatoes for everyone, as Salty gonna do an audacious dive on the Beetle, but Beetle with a much better traction coming out of the exit into the chicane, sticks it back into P4, but he's still got Salty behind him for company, and Teddy has caught up at a monstrous pace here, and this is gonna be a really lovely scrap for P4. 4 drivers in contention already, 2 of them with 3-second time penalties. As of now, it's going to be Teddy who gains the most from it, who's into P4, starting from, I believe, P11. As Kobus retires, and he is decided there's a caution, as Hashtrunk gets a 10-second time for speeding in the pit lane. Fucking hell, Kobus retiring from the session, I believe, just in the pits. Wesh, no, you cannot, mate. The race has already started. And unfortunately for him, Kobus retiring, the second retiree of this race, as the yellow flags are blaring out in sector 1. But it's just the next race is in a couple of weeks. Mate, this is tier 1. I don't know what time to set for your application, but we can get that sorted after the race just for you, buddy. You see Max pulling off Kobus pulling off to the side into sector 1, and that's unfortunate for Mercedes, who really wanted some good points this weekend. But all headlines are going to be on this man on screen now. Lap 18, Sorenzi is flying away. This is really showing why he's a Drivers' Championship in for Tier 1 this season. Just relentless pace the entire season and consistency to match. It's going to be a good final lap for this man as he looks to bring it home with another win. As they're going to cut back to that small battle for P4. Teddy has got in the head of Solzy and Beetle, actually. So he's going to fly away down the strip, down the small strip in Sector 1. He's going to be moved on by anyone. Beetle almost had that little bit of a look, but had to yield back in position. Fakana again having a little bit of a slip up off the rear. Coming into the chicane, everyone takes it nice and tidy. As Teddy's going to fly around this next one. He's hit the wall. He's hit the back wall and he's really tight. And Toasty does get that second time penalty for track limits. 6 seconds for him as he's up the back of P10. But he's currently up the back of Hash Brown. These two have been fighting just for a little bit longer. As does Toasty get the DRS? He does down the straight. He's not going to have enough as that rear light is blaring its head off. Too much ARS usage. Already not enough to get him moved on that Ferrari to come back to that battle. We've got a Beetle who's on the tail of Solzy. He's going to try and move down the inside, but Solzy gets back in. Nice and tidy there. As this battle is still going for P4. Strangers are leading the way onto lap 19, 4 seconds in front of second place. Impulse as you quickly look at the leader positioning. Everyone is just so far behind each other. You can see the gaps already forming everywhere. Fakana's almost out of DRS of Beetle behind. Actually, no, he's not. He's right there, almost on the tail. As the DRS is going to prove that no, it takes to be done here because Teddy is just too far ahead of Solzy. As they're going to take this chicane, Love nice and tidy here. A little bit of a lock up from the McLaren Souls, and he's going to take a much slower exit. Beetle's going to try something in there. It's like Taste the Curb Lovely. They're side by side racing here, and Beetle with a much better exit. He's going to take P5 from the McLaren. That's a lovely move from a tight angle for the Alpine as they look to push down this straight. Soul's going to be in prime position here to reclaim P5, but it might not be all for anything. Sakana's going to jump them both come the end of the race if the results and the timings do say that much similar. As Beetle's going to burn all his ARS, all he's got down the back straight. He's going to do one move down the line. Solzy takes around the outside, but Beetle is there to keep his position. Beautiful defending from that Alpine for P6 as Solzy has to fight yet another lap for his coveted P5. Toasty gets a move on Hashtrain come the back straight there. And speaking of it, he doesn't even need the back straight. He needs that left, right-handed little wavy part as Hashtrain's possibly DRS on that horse. It opens. No, it doesn't. It's actually going to go the way of Toasty maybe. No one opening DRS. Actually, as I say that, Hash Brown's got DRS down the back straight, but it's to yield his move from the Haas. As he gets a much better exit now, Toasty looking to push away from the only Ferrari. It's going to be a long battle for them two. As this battle is still going for P5 now, Teddy is long gone from Beetle. And it's going to be a battle for P5. So Solzy is just out of DRS from the Alpine. And behind him, his teammate looking for something to fight for here. Who's down in P7. He's got his teammate in Solzy for company in front. Down the straight. Max has another 3 seconds time penalty for track limits. Not good for him as you quickly look at the time penalties. Football Dog and Soul have 3 seconds, as does Impulse. As Fakana's going to get moved on his teammate, possibly even on Beetle coming around the Lewis picnic section. There's contact between both McLarens, and Soul's been spun around the Lewis picnic section. That is really unfortunate for the McLaren team. Almost a bit of Mark Webber and Sebastian Vettel around a decade ago. Sorry, more than a decade, around 2010 when those two hit the shit, I believe, in China. That is really unfortunate for the McLaren team, as Sakana is going to have that gap just enunciated. He got 7 seconds to his teammate, but his teammate is just really having not the best of races here. Poor Soldi. I've found my job already. Oh my god, I'm ridiculous. Is there going to be any damage on that McLaren? There surely has to be. It looks like only an end plate for Soldi. Both end plates actually for the McLaren, but doesn't seem too much damage yet. I'm not sure if he's going to pit. Come here, so maybe go for a fastest lap. He's just sending it into 6th gear, 7th gear. He's still going full pace, so it's good to see from Souls. As for Kana, he's going to be the closest on track. Speaking of that, I want to quickly go to Hashbrown, who's just in the DRS zone with Toasty. Nothing to fight for there, as Hashbrown's actually at the fastest first sector on that hard set of tyres. Has a bit of a slip up coming out of the exit of that small little chicane, but down the straight can Hashbrown get anything done? He's right up the rear of that Haas, who's on the medium tyres. Those men be dying maybe right about now. The crossover looks to be really close between the hards and the mediums, but for now Toasie's going to hold on to P9, but Hashbrown's there is something to say about it. Coming to the straight, the long Vegas strip, the best part of the straight by far. Derasimi in tow right about now, and Hashbrown's on that extra 15km advantage and use it to overtake Toasty for P9. These two be fighting come the end. It's a bit of an aggressive curbing there from Hashbrown, and Toasty takes that position back as Impulse Solzy to come into the pits and pit on those soft tyres. Maybe go for fastest lap, just something to take home for that McLaren team. We're currently running P6 and P8. As we're going to quickly look to Fakana, who's slowly catching up to Beat-Up for P5. Maybe a little slip up coming out the exit there, the McLaren. He's gonna be in the DRS zone. He's gone at the detection point. He's 9/10 behind. That's enough for DRS. The DRS is open right about now. He's on a lot of speed compared to that Alpine. He's slowly getting time, but it's not going to be enough for a move at all. Beetle just too far ahead of the McLaren as Vakano almost slips up into the chicane, right in the curve, just a little bit aggressively as he cut back to Hashbrown and Toasty fighting for second last here as Toasty gets overtaken with a lovely move from the Ferrari of Hashbrown as they look to come onto the Vegas Strip. It's going to be an advantage for this man of Toasty, who's just fighting to at least not be the last of the finishing drivers. He's a lot more pace than that Ferrari already on the medium tyres. He's going to DRS down the straight here. He's going to have that move done well executed there from Toasty for P9. Still, he's still fighting. Almost an aggressive curve touch yet again from Toasty, but that's to be not enough for Hashbrown to even think of a move. For Kane is 7/10 behind Beat-Up. He's going to have just coming in that DRS zone. Still a lot of ground to make up, but as of now, he's going to jump him for P5 to that 3-second time period for that Alpine. As we're still on lap 23, 2 laps to go, and it's been a slightly less eventful race than Tier 2 from yesterday, but he still brought an abundance of action. As I stumble over my words, holy shit, I need maybe a speech therapist come the end of this session as we're starting lap 24, the penultimate lap, and the second last lap of the season here as we bid farewell to F1 24 here in IRL with a move to 25 in a couple weeks time to start season 5. As Fakana is in the car around that back straight, he's still got in tow. Speaking of tow, Hashbrown and Toasty are still fighting down into sector 2, but Dara's going to play here for Toasty coming the part of it. Fakana is going to be on the back of that Alpine or Beetle. Can he get a move on even without the 3-second time penalty being needed here? The zones just too quick for that McLaren. Has a bit of a lock up Beetle there and Fakana as well as he cut back. Toasty's got that move done on Hashbrown. A bit of an aggressive curbing there from the Haas, but it's all good. Hashbrown's just a little bit slower as Hashbrown for some reason to dive into the pits, maybe go for fastest lap here on this last lap. He just needs to hope that Serenzi here doesn't lap him, otherwise it's all for nothing as he comes around the Lewis picnic section where Lewis actually bent it hard in qualifying. Will Hashran have enough time as Serenzi comes around the final corner? It doesn't look like it's going to be enough as Serenzi is in a lap Hashran as we start the final lap of the race. You can just see behind, you can't actually, the Hashran's just coming out of the pits now. There's a caution in sector 3, I believe. It's Souls. Soulsy and, oh sorry, that's Toasty. No, it's Teddy who's he's had a puncture. Teddy's had a puncture coming into the part where Lando Norris crashed a couple years ago, and that's really unfortunate for the Haas team. They really want some good points, but Teddy's in a pit on this last lap. He comes into the pits. I'm not sure what happened. Maybe contact between Soulsy and Teddy caused that collision. But it's going to be all for nothing as Teddy on the soft tyres. Oi, 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 not the day for the Haas team as it's going to be possibly a P8, P9. It's going to be a P8, P9 finish for the boys in white and red. Still no action here on track. There is a bit of action here, I believe. It's Beto and Fakana. Fakana getting past the Alpine, but it's not enough coming in the DRS zone as they look towards the final lap of the race. It's been a brilliant season all around for this man on screen, Serenzi. He takes the win here in Vegas. He crossed the line, and that means Red Bull are your Tier 1 Constructors Champions for this season. Impulse had a great race, but has to settle for P2 coming on the final corner, and Mark setting up a double podium for the final race in Tier 1 on F124, a double podium, and it's delight for Red Bull as they clinch yet another Constructors Championship in IRL. Finishes ahead of Beto, for Beto finishing in P5, having that something. As you look at the time penalties here, Souls is going to have that in that 3-second interval he's needed to get that jump on the Mercedes as Max is going to cross the line right about now. There's carnage everywhere. Cautions in sector 2. Max is going to take it for P6 as Hash Friends left the session and retired. Unfortunately, he did start dead last, 100 of a second between Salty and Max for P6, Teddy and Toasty finishing in the back, P9. It just wasn't Haas's day as Toasty's going to come across on his debut in the points for P9 and a 9-second time delay. But it's back to this man, Serenzi, the Drivers' Championship with another great race under his belt, another win in IRL as Sakana gets Driver of the Day for a lovely drive for P4. Into the podium celebration, Serenzi flip as he caps off a wonderful season for a one and the Constructors title wrapped up here in Vegas in the finale. And Impulse is only there to sadly wonder what could have been. It could have been a lot different for the Alpine boys, but it's Red Bull in jubilation, and they gambled right all season. Funny enough, in Vegas, they get the Constructors title as the celebrations are well and truly done for the team from Milton Keynes, your Tier 1 IRL Constructors Champions, Red Bull, as Serenzi takes the win. Impulse gets P2, Mark gets P3 for Kana, a lovely drive from the back of the grid for P4. Peter, unfortunate for him, having a slip up, so down to P5, Max in P6, Salty P7, Teddy P8, Toasty P9, Hash Round P10, Cobus and Lewis, unfortunately retiring from the session. And that is your IRL Season 4 done and dusted. And it's been a wonderful season from start to finish. And Red Bull can definitely celebrate, as I believe Alpine do move up into second with that haul of points they've got. But it's been a wonderful season, and I absolutely enjoyed every second of this race. I'm your commentator, GoldenSniper. I will see you for Tier 1 in a couple weeks' time as we bid farewell to F1 24. We're going to hop on to 25 in a week or two's time. And I do hope you have a great rest of your long weekend. And toodaloo, motherfuckers. Congratulations to Red Bull once again for a wonderful Constructors win, and Serenity for yet another win in his career.